How is everybody? Dr. Katka here. Welcome to our update for November. My goodness gracious, we have 2 more months before this year is over, 2021. 2021 was a year of change. No kidding, eh? My goodness. Really, we have been through so much, starting last year and then this year, movement and change. Movement and change. So we have been asked to move in a different direction. We have been asked and oftentimes forced to move in places and spaces we don't feel comfortable, literally asked to retrieve and be with ourselves for already a second year, and then wanting to be part of life again. We're asking to follow certain guidelines and certain rules which may or may not feel good to our soul and our inner being. And what that is pushing us to do and inviting us to do is to really go deep within. What is my truth? What is my deep truth? And how can I follow it? How can I show up as the best self in the world? How can I show up every single day as the best me I can possibly be? When we're forced and when we are pushed to our limit, it is not an easy thing to do unless we take full responsibility for how we are, how we behave, how we show up in the world. It's a big thing. It's a big invite that is happening and has been happening over the last 2 years. You know, September, we really started coming back to ourselves. You know, when fall starts coming, it is an invitation to bring our energies in, to recap the year and to start gathering resources and starting to figure out, where am I, where do I want to be, and how do I want to prepare my being for that over the winter. So September, as a quick recap, we started with self-care, really bringing the focus on ourselves and finding that more than ever, how we take care of our own being, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, our energy field, that is how we can show up. The more I can take care of this, the more I can really show up in my truth and not waver, not be pushed one way or another. Not get triggered. So self-care. Then October, it was a deeper self-reflection. How do we take a pause? How do we really take a breath, take a pause, allow our organism to settle down, to bring our nervous system to a state of homeostasis and harmony? How can we pause and really look at deeper aspects of our life or our behavior, our beliefs, and once again showing up in our fullest self? For that, we sometimes really have to go deep, revisit, and see. We talked about the highways, right? Do I follow the highway that is set for me, or do I go in, really see what's true for me, and start following the path less traveled, which is my path, my only path? Like, nobody has walked my path. Nobody is going to be able to walk my path, only me. And that is my biggest gift I'm bringing to humanity, to planet Earth, is my path, my every step of the way. How do I show up in my best self? And now we are into November. The weather reflects it. There's a little coldness coming, less and less daylight, more and more darkness. Darkness really allows for deeper self-reflection. Powerful. You know, sometimes when we get overwhelmed, when we really don't know what to do, believe it or not, being in a complete darkness with our eyes open, So going into a closet, there's a big enough closet, and just sitting there comfortably, just being in the darkness and letting the darkness envelop us and relax into the unknown, into the darkness, because in the darkness is when the light is born. Out of the darkness, the light is born. November, besides it being some amazing holidays there in the United States, it is Thanksgiving and the time of thanks. Besides, in many states and many countries, there's an amazing nature shifting in the leaves turning, and oh, nature just really showing us how it's being prepared for this inner process of winter. And with that, there's a lot of letting go. There's invitation into letting go. So November will be a month of letting go. We could take it as easily as letting go of things, preparing our homes for the holidays, for the settling down. We're going to be more home in our special sacred buildings and apartments and homes and trailers, you name it. We're gonna spend more time there during the winter, starting the fall, but during the winter. So we want to make that place really reflective. It's like a sacred temple. So oftentimes there is a little bit or a lot to let go, and that would be a perfect time to start that, like right now. Remember we talked about the power days for October. There are definitely power days for November. Once again, it's 11/1, so the first, yeah, and it's 11/11, one of the most mm, powerful days in the year, really, and definitely in the month. And also 11/22 for sure is another one, but 11/11, it's a special, special day. So if you can prepare something special, prepare, some sacred time with yourself or with your family. If you can go into nature, if you can go into some water, whether it's a hot spring, whether it's a pool of water, something special, or take a beautiful tub, hot bath with some amazing oils, just to allow for that sacredness of that day. So letting go, sometimes it's easier to let go of physical things than it is to let go of what doesn't serve us in the mental, emotional, physical, what are we bringing into our body that is physical, food, drinks, you name it, that is actually not supporting us, that's plugging things one on top of another, plugging our system in our lymphatic and stagnating our liver and detoxification pathways. Even though we're moving into holidays and a feast time, can we actually be more conscious as to what we bring into our bodies physically? Remember, nutrients, alkalinizing foods are more important now than ever. Since we're moving into the winter months, it's usually easier for the body to have cooked or warm steamed veggies, squashes, sweet potatoes, soups, things like that. Absolutely amazing. The other things that sometimes are harder to see, or they could be a little bit slippery, are the beliefs or the systems we're kind of set up in within our mental emotional, our patterns. Oh my goodness, sometimes those are so in our subconscious mind. We really have to take the time of self-care and self-reflection and pause to allow for them to rise to the surface. This is a perfect time to do that. Can I see can I reflect on my life and see what has not served, and start looking into how can I shift it? How can I choose a different path? Usually at any given point, whether we're conscious of it or not, we have a choice between, whether I eat this food or this food, whether I go hang out with this person or this person, or actually there's not only one or two, there's multitude choices. And then usually the multiple choices then tend to kind of dwindle down into two. But just becoming aware of the choices in the moment, and then we are actually making a choice. Sometimes the most powerful thing is to realize that we are actually making a choice at any given point, even though we may not be aware of the moment that we are making the choice. And that's our subconscious mind is making the choice for us. So how powerful would that be if we take this powerful month 11, November, superpower just in those numbers right there? Yeah, like there's superpower in just blending. There's new beginning every single day, and then the 1/1 being 22, it's superimposed with just grace. There's a lot of grace coming in through the month of November and December and January, especially December. But we're preparing for it for the holy days. We're preparing for it already now in November. So remembering the fact that there's a lot of grace energy behind us, thus making choices for our highest, which really reflects, like, can I choose what's in the highest for me and everybody else involved? Mm, quite an amazing month for that. Really, every single day. And why not start now? With the power of the 11. Yeah, so sometimes just being conscious and realizing that, okay, I have a choice here. I have a choice here. I may not be able to choose the higher road quite yet, but just becoming aware of the fact that I have a choice, there is tremendous power behind it. And if I need help from somebody, I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna get, a support system. I'm gonna have somebody that is not involved necessarily within my family circle, but that can hold the space for me and help me navigate forward. Sometimes it's easier than having to do that on our own. However, it is always us who are in the driver's seat. We are the ones that make the choices. We're the ones that make the decisions. We're the ones that decide, okay, what can I let go of this month? What can I get let go of physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, that doesn't serve those limiting beliefs that I may not even know I have? So the first question will be, what are those? What is there something to let go of? And if it is, what is it? And then we start going into, how do I do that? Hmm? Powerful month, powerful month. Yeah, enjoy every single day of it. Enjoy wherever you live. Enjoy the season changes. We invite nature to actually be on our side, which it always is, but inviting it in and reflecting back to us the power of, the clouds getting dark, and reflecting back to us like the mirror, the leaves falling off the trees and letting go, right? The trees knowing to let go of the leaves so they can replenish for next year. My goodness, so much wisdom in nature. Yeah. Many blessings to you. Have the most powerful month of November. Let us know how you're doing and take care. Lots of blessings.